Hazel's Great Escape. In a quiet suburban neighborhood, nestled in a cozy house at the end of a cul-de-sac, lived a small hamster named Hazel. Hazel was a golden hamster with soft fur, bright eyes, and an adventurous spirit. She lived in a spacious cage filled with tunnels, a wheel, and various toys that her owner, Lily, had lovingly provided. Lily was a kind-hearted 12-year-old who adored Hazel. She spent hours playing with her, making sure her furry friend had everything she needed. Despite her comfortable life, Hazel often gazed out of her cage bars, her curiosity piqued by the world beyond her home. One sunny Saturday morning, Lily decided to clean Hazel's cage. She carefully transferred Hazel into a small, temporary enclosure while she scrubbed and sanitized the main cage. As Lily worked, she received a call from her best friend, Mia, inviting her to go to the park. "Sure, I'll be there in 10 minutes, Lily said, hanging up the phone. She quickly finished her task, but in her hurry, she forgot to secure the latch on Hazel's temporary enclosure. As soon as Lily left the room, Hazel noticed the unsecured latch. With a mix of curiosity and excitement, she pushed it open and cautiously stepped out. The vast expanse of Lily's bedroom stretched before her like an uncharted frontier. Hazel's tiny heart pounded with exhilaration as she scurried across the soft carpet, sniffing everything in sight. She explored under the bed, behind the dresser, and even ventured into Lily's closet. Each new discovery fueled her adventurous spirit. Eventually, Hazel made her way to the door, which had been left slightly ajar. She squeezed through the gap and found herself in the hallway. The house was eerily quiet, and Hazel took her time exploring, moving from one room to another. In the living room, she encountered a massive expanse of hardwood floor. Hazel hesitated for a moment but then bravely dashed across the open space, her tiny paws making faint tapping sounds against the wood. She reached the kitchen and sniffed around, drawn by the tantalizing smell of food. Meanwhile, at the park, Lily and Mia enjoyed their time together, oblivious to Hazel's grand adventure back home. They played on the swings, climbed trees, and chatted about school and their favorite TV shows. Back in the house, Hazel found herself near the back door. She noticed a small gap where the door didn't quite meet the floor. With a determined wiggle, she managed to squeeze through and found herself outside for the first time in her life. The backyard was a vast, green paradise. Hazel's senses were overwhelmed by the sights, sounds, and smells of the outdoors. She cautiously ventured onto the grass, feeling its softness beneath her paws. The garden was full of fascinating things, colorful flowers, tall blades of grass, and insects buzzing around. Hazel's adventure continued as she explored further. She discovered a small vegetable patch and nibbled on a leaf of lettuce, relishing the fresh taste. She dug little holes in the soil, enjoying the feeling of dirt beneath her claws. However, Hazel's adventure took a sudden turn when she encountered a large, fluffy cat named Whiskers. Whiskers belonged to the neighbors and often roamed freely in the adjoining yards. The cat's eyes widened with interest when it spotted Hazel, who froze in fear. Whiskers crouched, ready to pounce, but Hazel's instincts kicked in. She darted toward a nearby bush, seeking refuge in its dense foliage. The cat chased after her, but Hazel's small size and agility allowed her to slip through the branches where Whiskers couldn't follow. The bush provided a safe hiding spot, and Hazel remained still, her heart racing. Whiskers eventually lost interest and wandered off, leaving Hazel to catch her breath. After a few minutes, she cautiously emerged from her hiding place, her adventure continuing but with a new sense of caution. As the sun began to set, Hazel realized she needed to find her way back home. The backyard, which had initially seemed like a vast playground, now felt enormous and disorienting. She retraced her steps, relying on her keen sense of smell to guide her back to the house. Lily and Mia returned from the park, and Lily immediately went to check on Hazel. When she saw the empty enclosure and the open latch, panic set in. "Oh no, Hazel's gone," she exclaimed, her eyes wide with worry. The girls searched the house frantically, calling out Hazel's name and looking in every nook and cranny. When they found the gap in the back door, their hearts sank. "She must be outside," Mia said, her voice filled with concern. Armed with flashlights and determination, the girls stepped into the backyard, calling out for Hazel. "Hazel! Where are you?" Lily shouted, hoping to see her little friend scampering toward her. Hazel heard Lily's voice and felt a rush of relief. Following the sound, she made her way back to the house. The girls' flashlights eventually caught a glimpse of her tiny, golden figure near the vegetable patch. "There she is!" Mia cried, pointing excitedly. Lily carefully approached Hazel, who looked up at her with wide eyes. "Oh, Hazel, I'm so glad you're okay," she said, scooping her up gently. "You had quite the adventure, didn't you?" Hazel nuzzled against Lily's hand, feeling safe and content once more. Lily carried her back inside, making sure the latch on her enclosure was securely fastened this time. The girls spent the rest of the evening pampering Hazel, giving her extra treats and cuddles. They marveled at her bravery and curiosity, and Lily vowed to be more careful in the future. As Hazel settled back into her cage, she felt a sense of satisfaction. Her adventure had been thrilling, and though she was happy to be home, she knew the world outside held many more mysteries waiting to be explored. Lily sat by the cage, watching Hazel with a smile. "You really are an adventurous little hamster, aren't you?" she said softly. "I promise I'll take you on more safe adventures from now on." Hazel looked up at Lily, her whiskers twitching. She didn't understand the words, but she felt the love and care in Lily's voice. As she curled up in her cozy nest, Hazel drifted off to sleep, dreaming of future escapades and the boundless wonders of the world beyond her cage. In the days that followed, Lily kept her promise. She started taking Hazel on supervised adventures around the house, allowing her to explore new spaces under careful watch. She also built a small outdoor playpen for Hazel, giving her a safe taste of the backyard without the risk of wandering off. Hazel quickly adapted to her new routines, enjoying her adventures while knowing she could always return to the safety of her cage. Each day brought new sights and experiences, from the rustling of leaves to the gentle hum of a distant lawnmower. One afternoon, as Lily was doing her homework, she noticed Hazel behaving strangely. The little hamster was digging furiously in the corner of her cage, more energetically than usual. Curious, Lily approached the cage and watched Hazel closely. "What are you up to, Hazel?" she wondered aloud. Hazel paused and looked up at Lily, then resumed her digging with even more determination. It didn't take long for Lily to realize that Hazel was trying to communicate something. She watched as Hazel uncovered a small piece of paper that had somehow made its way into her cage. Lily carefully removed the paper and unfolded it. To her surprise, it was a note from her neighbor, Mr. Thompson, who often looked after Hazel when Lily and her family were away. "Dear Lily," the note read, "I found this while cleaning out my attic and thought you might like it. It's a map of a secret garden that I used to play in when I was a kid. It's hidden behind the old oak tree at the end of the street. Maybe you and Hazel can go on an adventure to find it. Best, Mr. Thompson." Lily's eyes widened with excitement. A secret garden sounded like the perfect adventure for her and Hazel. She immediately called Mia to share the news. "Mia, you won't believe what I just found," she exclaimed. "Mr. Thompson left me a map to a secret garden. We have to check it out." Mia was just as enthusiastic. "That sounds amazing. Let's go this weekend." The days leading up to the adventure were filled with anticipation. Lily made sure Hazel was ready for the trip, packing her a small travel cage with all the essentials. She also prepared a picnic for herself and Mia, imagining the fun they would have explored the hidden garden. When Saturday finally arrived, Lily and Mia set off with Hazel in tow. They followed the map carefully, making their way to the old oak tree at the end of the street. The tree was enormous, with thick branches that seemed to reach the sky. "According to the map, the entrance to the garden should be somewhere around here," Lily said, scanning the area. Mia pointed to a small, overgrown path that led behind the tree. "I think it's this way," she suggested. The girls followed the path, pushing through the dense foliage until they emerged into a beautiful, secluded garden. The sight took their breath away. The garden was filled with vibrant flowers, lush greenery, and a sparkling pond. It was like stepping into a fairy tale. Hazel's tiny nose twitched with excitement as she took in the new surroundings. Lily placed her travel cage on the ground, allowing Hazel to explore the garden under their watchful eyes. "This place is incredible," Mia said, spreading out a blanket for their picnic. "I can't believe it's been here all this time." Lily nodded, feeling a deep sense of gratitude to Mr. Thompson for sharing this hidden gem. They spent the afternoon exploring every corner of the garden, discovering secret nooks and hidden treasures. Hazel was in her element, darting through the grass and sniffing the flowers. She found a cozy spot near the pond and watched the water, her eyes wide with wonder. For the first time, she saw dragonflies flitting about and heard the gentle croaking of frogs. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the garden, Lily and Mia packed up their picnic. They gently placed Hazel back in her travel cage, ensuring she was comfortable. "This has been the best adventure ever," Lily said, smiling at Mia. And it's all thanks to Hazel and Mr. Thompson. Mia agreed, her eyes twinkling with joy. I can't wait to come back and explore more. There's so much we haven't seen yet. As they made their way back home, Lily felt a profound sense of happiness. Hazel's great escape had led to unexpected adventures and deeper friendships. It reminded her of the magic that could be found in everyday life and the importance of curiosity and exploration. Back at home, Lily placed Hazel in her cage and watched as the little hamster settled in. "Thank you for leading us to the secret garden, Hazel," she said softly. "You're the bravest hamster I know." Hazel looked up at Lily, her whiskers twitching as if to say, "You're welcome." She then curled up in her nest, feeling content and loved. From that day forward, Hazel's adventures continued, each one bringing new discoveries and cherished memories. And through it all, she knew she had a loving friend in Lily, who shared her sense of wonder and excitement for the world around them. The end.